What's that? Angus is on time? What world is this? How's it going, guys? I am not if it is actually working, but welcome to a live stream here on Maker's Muse. Man, it's been a while since I've done one of these on the main channel. It has been a very long time. I have my window open, so if you hear crazy birds, then it is crazy birds. If they're too loud, then let me know and I can close the window. So how's it going, guys? Angus here from Maker's Muse. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh my god, we got Nathan in the chat, Nathan Wilson, Noop Lapsa, Willard Sheets, Jared Cohen, Rigby Tunes, Robert Rossi, 3D Print 3D channel. How's it going, guys? Anthony, Caleb, holy crap, the chat's exploding already. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a crazy milestone, and I just wanted to do a stream and hang out with you guys because it's been, what was it? I hit 100k May last year, and since then it's just been a roller coaster, and I haven't met so many of you. It's awesome. So I just wanted to do a live stream and hang out with you guys, tell you a little bit about me, a little bit about the channel behind the scenes, answer some questions you might have. I'm doing this just on my own. I don't have any real assistance as such, so I'm sorry if I miss any questions you might have. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat, and already it's just blindingly going fast. I hope you guys had a good WAN show. I had to change the stream time. This is my WAN show hoodie. I do very much like Linus Tech Tips. So I realized I'd scheduled it at 10 a.m. my time, which is the same time as the WAN show. So thank you for bearing with me and being patient to the rescheduling. And I know it's very early in the morning for the UK, so thank you guys in the UK. I do appreciate it. Nate plays, oh my god, your hair, yeah. I woke up with it all fuzzy, so I'm like, God, I gotta do something with it. So it's got a little bit of product in it, but you can't put it down. Like it's people think I do it on purpose. This is my hair. It just does not behave. It's just how it is. Oh man, Inkjoy, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, dude. It has indeed been a crazy journey. Inkjoy's been around for very long time, subscribed to the channel. I really do appreciate it, man. It's awesome to see all of you. Oh dear, so I have some water. And I have some breakfast fuel. Alright. So, Sir Hamsalot just subbed, welcome. So again, the channel's gone up hugely lately because of a few videos that took off. The Sphericon video, if you're here because of that video, welcome. I had a ton of fun making that video. Devin over at Make Anything just made a video about Sphericons as well. If you want to get, if you need more Sphericon hit, he did a really good video. But that just went nuts and pushed the channel past the 300k mark. Oh dear. Fergmeister, love your stuff. Don't even own a 3D printer. Awesome. That's kind of the direction I've been pushing the channel. A bit of history. I started it because I was working in the industry of 3D printing. I was printing on demand, and people were asking these questions every day that were the sort of the same questions. So I made the channel to kind of answer those questions for those people, and then people found it. But I've always been about just making cool things. I've never been about 3D printing just for like the equipment. I use 3D printers to make what I want. And it's really cool that you're here, even if you don't have a 3D printer, even if you don't want a 3D printer. Empowering creativity through technology. You might do something else. You might be into coding. You might be into graphic design. If I can help in any way, and you get any sort of inspiration from my videos, that makes me super happy. And Inkdroid is at work. Don't tell the boss. I won't dob you in. Oh dear. Again, I apologize if I miss anything. This is nuts. Noop, where are you in the world? I am in sunny Australia, although we're having a bit of a drought right now, which sort of sucks where I am. But it's quite nice today. I had to turn the camera away from the window because it's blinding outside. Oh man. Again, sorry if I missed anyone. Everyone's saying hello. Botus me, notice me. Awesome. Right. Well, the whole purpose of the stream, as I said, was to interact with you guys. Um, if you have any questions, so look, I obviously I'm passionate about 3D printing, but if you have any interest in other sort of fields of industrial design, or you might want to know some stuff about running a YouTube channel, because this is my full-time job. A lot of people come into the channel thinking this is a side gig. It's not. It used to be, but this is my full-time gig now on here on YouTube. So if you have any questions about that sort of thing, let me know. I have been quite busy. There's some stuff in the background that's coming up. I've got a video dropping tonight. But yeah, if you have anything at all, just let me know. Oh, the chat was moving. It just I didn't see it. Good God. John, thank you so much. Ender 3 under extruding. Will a Swiss hot end fix it? My video with the Ender 3 did have the under extrusion issue, and it wasn't something that was to do with the hot end. It was to do with the PTFE coupling. The Swiss hot end is an all-metal hot end. I wouldn't recommend that for the Ender 3 because you're going to be printing with PLA primarily, and PLA is not great with an all-metal hot end. I would go with, I don't know, there's a mount for an E3D swap. I would probably go through that and a PTFE lined hot end. Everyone's saying, freaking out about Nathan Wilson in the chat. Nathan is a champion. Go check out these videos. He does Rubik's Cube and 3x3 and puzzle modifications. And his cinematography is so much better than mine. Oh my god. So I have been heavily leveraging Nathan for some of my recent content. Eric, I like how you have your WAN hoodie on. It's cold. And I wear this because it's practical as well, but also it's black and orange. I mean, what's wrong with that? You can't go wrong with black and orange. Skewed View, will you be doing... when will you and Lady Muse be doing a Friday stream together again? Probably never. I've dropped that format, unfortunately. It's just, I don't have time to do regular streams. It's just not going to work. 3D Makers, you've inspired me, and I've used several of your Fusion tutorials. Awesome. That makes me really happy. The Fusion tutorials, I am still learning Fusion. I learned industrial design and SolidWorks. Teresa dropping the A5, AS5. Thank you so much, jeez. Every time, you don't have to do that at all. What was I talking about? That's right. I learned SolidWorks at uni. So Fusion 360 has been a learning curve for me as well, and I like to pass that on through my tutorials. So I know I'm not the most clued in and concise when it comes to knowing Fusion 360 because I am still using it and learning it, but I'm really happy to hear that, man. It's definitely the most powerful free CAD program I've come across, which is pretty nuts considering I used to pay about $10,000 for something of that caliber in the past. Andrew, thanks for the $2. Can we hear your opinion on 3D Gloop Glue? I unfortunately have zero opinion because I've never used it. Yeah, there's a lot of other creators I've seen using it for various things like smoothing models and stuff, but I haven't actually used it, so I can't comment fairly. Cyber Dustin, thanks for the $10. Any chance you will be able to make it to Murph 2019? I don't know. Maybe. I had to say no to traveling this year because last year it had a significant impact on what I could do on the channel and also my health. Flying is not good for my back right now, but I would really like to. It's just Australia's so far away, man. It's like 15-hour flight or something to get to the States, and then another 3-hour, 4-hour drive to get to Murph out of the airport. It's nuts. For me to do that, I would have to seriously consider what I would be sacrificing, I suppose. But I want to make another Maker Fair. I want to meet you guys in person. I really do. Hey, Ron. Nice to see you. David, I sent you a DM a little while back about my website's dedication page to your YouTube channel. Did you see it? I do get a lot of emails. I haven't gotten back to you yet, David. Sorry about that. If it's about re-uploading, though, I'm generally not too okay with that. I've been fighting DMCAs for serving DMCAs quite a lot recently, and it really sours it. For those who don't know, a lot of YouTube channels get their videos re-uploaded by other people, and it's done for nefarious purposes, which I'm not implying that at all, which is what David was talking about. But I'm totally okay with like embedding and linking and that sort of thing. But when it goes to like re-uploading content where I can't control it, it's my face, and that kind of upsets me. So I'm a little tentative on that. But I'll check. I'll find your email, man, and I'll get back to you. Turkins 3D tanks. When you say cold, what would be cold over there? Yeah, when I say cold, I'm talking about like 18 degrees Celsius. Australians don't do cold. We hate the cold. It is not at all what you would be calling cold. Angus Cos, another Angus, good choice on the name. Go to a Rubik's Cube comp, there's one soon in Sydney. Yeah, that's one thing, I cannot solve Rubik's Cubes. I will need some help from Nathan for that. I've figured out how to make them. Hold on a second. Right. For you guys, this is a preview for a video dropping tonight. I finally figured out the mechanism where I can get them to work really well. But in terms of actually solving these things, not yet. I'm working on it. The algorithms are just what I need to memorize, basically. Eric is asking, what features from heavier CAD programs would you like to see in Fusion 360? I'm not quite sure what you mean by heavier. Do you mean like SolidWorks or CATIA? Like, what's the definition of heavier? I honestly don't need anything else. I would like the joint and assembly method to be a little bit easier to use. Coming from SolidWorks, the joints in Fusion are pretty glitchy and janky, but I don't need like fluid analysis. I don't need to see the path of air currents and calculate drag. I don't do any of that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with it, to be completely frank with you. Jean-Francois, will there be other videos about you upgrading your old Wanhao? I do want to get back to that. It's sitting in the situation where we left it, where I fixed the high temperature Flexion, but at that point, any of the other upgrades kind of seemed a bit superfluous. Like, I'm using it now. I use it to print all of my flexible materials, and I don't want to break it. So maybe, I don't know. The upgrades we did, like the stiffeners and the hot end change, really made a significant difference. I don't want to break it. That's the issue. But we'll see. I might get back to it. Chris, thank you so much for the $10. Congrats, long-time fan from way back, and being part of your channel growth has been great. Any advice for new viewers just starting out? P.S. I don't know how lucky they are now. If you mean like new viewers to the channel, in which case, very much welcome. It's hard because YouTube doesn't deal with backlog very well. Like, they bury videos. So, if people are looking to actually get into 3D printing, then I highly recommend watching some of the reviews to just get an idea. It doesn't have to be a printer you're looking for. And then smash the 101, the 3D Printing 101 playlist. I know some of those videos are a little bit older and the quality isn't as good as it could be, but they're still valid. And stuff like getting a good first layer, reducing stringing, figuring out supports, printing without supports, all that stuff is stuff I wish I knew at the start, because I wasted so much time figuring it out when I could have had someone just tell me. So that would be my advice for someone just starting out. Been there, done that ANET A8 video, please? Yeah, sorry guys, you're never seeing an ANET video on this channel. One of them just caught fire again. They are death traps. I don't really care if they can be made well. The fact is that some of them have caught fire, and it seems to be happening quite often. So, it's not just ANET A8, it's just cheap kits with mains wiring issues and thermal runaway disabled, which is a thermal protection to stop fires. No. It does not fit into the empowering creativity mantra of Maker's Muse. It's a tinkerer's toy, which is fine if you're okay with that, but I wouldn't buy one to just print reliably. Morpheus, hello Angus, you inspired me to get started with 3D printing. I got a TiVo Michelangelo and waiting for filament to arrive to start printing. Any words on this printer? No, I've heard good things about the Michelangelo. It's very different to the other TiVos that I've seen, but yeah, I don't know. Go check out. I think 3D Maker Noob did a good review on it, but yeah, a lot of people are pretty happy with it. People are talking about the temperature. Yeah, okay, it's not cold. I don't like anything below 20s is just too cold for me. Morpheus, what about SketchUp? Its draw extrude mechanics are pretty aligned with 3D printing. Yeah, I cannot recommend SketchUp for 3D printing anymore. Not only have they locked it down to like there's a basic version and like paid version, but you need extensions for the STL export, and it's very easy to export errors in STL files like surfaces that are single at a zero thickness or intersecting bodies or shells, whatever. I highly recommend Tinkercad or Fusion 360 or Onshape, really, if you're okay with everything being public. Will there be a giveaway? No. I don't really intend to do giveaways on the channel. And the reason, guys, is because as I've noticed with a lot of my fellow creators, it attracts just random people spamming the giveaway when it doesn't really reward the actual people who follow the channel. So I might do a competition with a company where like you guys submit a 3D file or something and we choose the best. But in terms of giveaways where you just like and subscribe, hit that bell icon and you'll get a gift card in the mail. No. How does that benefit the channel? You get people who don't actually watch the content. So it's, I really hope that I have earned my subscriber number, not I've just gotten it through giveaways. Any hairstyling tips? Is it an Aussie thing? I don't know if I can give you tips because I literally wake up with it and then I just try to keep it somewhat stable. If I don't put any product in, it just goes fluffy. So I wouldn't take any hair tips from me, I'll be honest. Hey Chris, thanks so much for the $2. Have you tried AstroPrint on the Pi and recommend it? I have not. I've been meaning to try Octoprint on the Pi, but I haven't tried AstroPrint. But heaps of people do. I don't know how common AstroPrint is, but Octoprint's massive. Highly do recommend checking it out. And I have been meaning to, but I just personally have no issue with SD cards, so I haven't actually made the shift to on any of my printers. Yellow Jacket, do I recommend FreeCAD? Yeah, I don't know. I tried to use it a long time ago and I didn't really like it. But FreeCAD, for those who don't know, it's a free parametric modeling program that you can run on Linux. It seemed okay. It seemed a little bit old and outdated when you look at stuff like Fusion, which I know is it's on the cloud. You're under there, like they could clamp it down at any second. But I just, it was the best for me to move to. But it took me a long time to get into it. Like, the hesitation was there. So I might check out FreeCAD again in the future. I'm always looking for the best option for you guys in terms of accessibility, ease of use, and, flexibility. Like, what you can do with it. Hey, Jared, thanks for the $5. Hi from Taz, it's cold down here. I love the videos. A comp is a good idea. Cool, okay, I'll keep it in mind. I'll see if anyone else wants to team up with that. What's that on your sofa? What can you see in the camera? Oh, okay. So I am kind of working on a 3D printer. It's a bit of a just to do it. It's not really for any real purpose. But I'm working on design with a different mechanism. That's a very while away. It uses 8mm rods for everything because I figured if you're going to buy like components, you might as well buy a lot of something. So you just buy a lot of 8mm rods. Except I'm reusing the Hooney linear rail for the y-axis. Sorry, the x-axis. That was the only good thing to come out of the Hooney H6. The rest of the printer was terrible. But yeah, there's that, and then there's a Rubik's Cube, which the video for that drops tonight. It's a 3x3 that I printed Doesn't work very well. That one's not very good. It looks impressive though. Silver Thomas Ant. Where do you find inspiration or ideas when thinking of what to design or print? It's a good question. A lot of it comes from you guys. I'll do something, and then a lot of you will suggest something similar, or you'll see something cool and like tweet at me or leave me a comment on YouTube being like, "Hey Angus, have you seen this?" So the Sphericons came from someone who sent me a link to the Kickstarter campaign, and I was like, "That's super cool. I'll try it out." But also I have like favorite websites like 506. Is it 506 or 507 Mechanical Movements? Which is just a list of all these weird movements and mechanical linkages, which I just browse through. And I've been doing this sort of thing for so long. I've always been interested in mechanics, so I have a whole backlist of things I want to try. And back when I was a kid, they weren't possible, so I keep remembering things I wanted to do. And now I'm like, wait a second, it's possible now. And then I'll look into it. So a lot of things I test don't make it onto the channel because they don't get the traction needed, where they might not work out or they're boring. But yeah, it's just me. I just come up. I just can't help designing these random things. Unlikely creators, welcome to the chat. He's a very handy mod as well. The people want a packaging video. That's right. I talked about that, didn't I? About how packaging's designed and explaining like yogurt cartons. Maybe, I don't know. I think someone was asking about... Sorry, guys. I've lost the chat already. You talk so fast. Been there, done that. How do you contact a company for review models? That's a really good question. I have a video. I've actually made a couple of videos on how I operate the channel. But actually, I don't reach out to anyone these days. I used to sometimes, but very rarely. They see the channel. They see other people's printers. And then they get in touch. So how it started is I got a, what was it? A matter and form scanner, which was lent to me from someone who backed the Kickstarter campaign. And I reviewed that on the channel. Then Shining 3D, which is a Chinese 3D scanning company, saw that review and said, they sent me an email saying, "Hey, how do we get a review to you?" I'm like, "Well, I don't have your system. You'll have to send me one to borrow." And they're like, "Look, you just keep it." Because they had to send it from China. So that was the first company to ever actually send me something, which was interesting because it was a 3D scanner. But because I had tested printers on the channel, other printing companies saw that. So you kind of... I'm borrowing a lot from a interview that Linus Tech Tips did. You need access to equipment without having to buy it. So I worked in the industry where I had 3D printers being sent to us, and I was repairing them for customers and things. I had access to tech. I'd take it home on the weekend and review it, then bring it back the next week to work. But you don't have that. It's difficult because it's like a catch-22. You need stuff to review so other people see it and contact you to send you stuff. But if you can just find that starting point, you'll be fine. But it takes a long time. Don't expect it anytime soon. It took me like over a year to even get close. Jace is asking how to fix bad overhang, stringing, and clumping on 0.2mm layer heights on CR10 printer using slicer for slicing. That is a lot of issues you're having. Bad overhangs, stringing, and clumping. It sounds like everything's wrong in your profile. I would find a profile that is actually tuned for the CR10 because that sounds like your temperature's too high. It sounds like your cooling fan is not working. It sounds like you might be over extruding. Yeah, it sounds like everything's wrong in that profile. I'm sorry. A CR10 should not be that bad. Papa Tech, who do I like to watch on YouTube? 3D printing or other? I've actually been partial to Twitch lately. I watch a guy called Kit Boga who does scam baiting calls, but he has these personas, and he he sort of calls and wastes their time intentionally. It's really interesting. He's really clever. And I've just I'll have Kit's his streams or recordings of streams on while I'm editing or while I'm tinkering or 3D modeling. I really enjoy it. So I've been watching a lot of that lately. I don't watch a huge amount of 3D printing videos. Oops, sorry. Because, I mean, it's my job. I don't really, in my downtime, want to watch more 3D printing with no disrespect to other channels. I do watch some key channels. Like, I watch Joel's videos. I watch Devon's videos very much so. And I do quite like... This is very much not in the same vein of what I'm doing, but like Michael Reeves, who is very much not PG. Fair warning, but his videos are amazing. Go check him out. But he doesn't upload all that too often, but it's definitely worth subscribing if you're into almost satirical technology projects. He's very clever. Very clever. Should I buy a Tronxy X1? What's your budget? If your budget is like nothing, then yes. If your budget is higher than nothing, then I would hold out and buy something a little bit more functional. The Tronxy X1 is my lowest entry point design for 3D printing as a kit, but it is very much what you get. You get what you pay for. It's a non-heated bed, small print volume, it's a kit. It might have issues from the factory. Renaissance Kit Burger is funny. Kit Burger is a champion. I absolutely agree. Trigger me, Elmo. Yeah, that video was interesting. That was a real bait and switch, that one, actually. Yeah, again, fair warning, Michael Reeves is very much acquired taste. You need to start watching Maker's Muse, he's good. I've heard good things about that crazy Australian guy. Man. So, going back to the people asking about traveling to these events. This year, no, but next year I am definitely planning to hit Bay Area Maker Faire if you're planning to go there. The plan is to hit go to San Fran first, and then go to Bay Area Maker Faire, because the Bay Area wasn't the nicest area, but it's where the fair was. So I'd much rather stay in San Francisco for a bit, see some cool people, and then ship over to the Maker Faire. That's definitely on the cards. Nayless Soulless opinion on the Ender 3, is it overhyped? Look, anything at that price point is overhyped. $200 is ridiculous, but I think it's worth it. I mean, I did have issues with my printer, but they were minor. My main complaint, though, was a newcomer who buys at that price point, because most people will buy in at that sort of price point, wouldn't have known how to fix the issue. It's a catch-22. I mean, a printer that's cheap will have more quality control issues because they haven't spent money on it. But at the same time, it's what the newcomers tend to gravitate to. So the worst thing in the world would be for someone to buy a 3D printer that doesn't work and then they give up. That is like nightmarish to me. So I did get annoyed at them for that, but the newer versions apparently are quite good. Anyway, what are my thoughts on the 3D Fort? Yeah, I got an email this morning they're saying they've refunded it. So I found this campaign called for a 3D printer called the 3D Fort. It was made by the guys that did that one. That's the 101 Hero, the cheapest 3D printer I've ever bought. It was $70 US plus shipping. Pile of crap, but it looks good. But I never really expected it to work well. It was marketed as like a toy. So I got wind of a new campaign called the 3D Fort by the same team. At least I think it's the same team. It's very hard to tell. They didn't respond to any of my emails. They didn't respond to any of the backers very much. And no one knew about the campaign. It was on Indiegogo, not Kickstarter. I don't know why. Indiegogo is just for scams. And it got no traction. So I got an email this morning. I think Neris as well got one saying they've refunded the money. And I think the campaign's closed. So I'll keep an eye on it, because the 3D Fort looked pretty cool as just a toy printer. But yeah, it failed. It did not get traction. Are TL smoothers any good? I've never personally used them. We had a really good discussion on Twitter about them. The theory is sound, but I think it only really helps really crap drivers. I think that's what we got down to, because it's diodes, it's not capacitors. It doesn't really smooth anything. It just might remove high voltage noise or that sort of thing from bad drivers. I don't really know. I've never used them. I've never really felt the need to. Chris, when do you want to go big? I want to see a cement FDM printer in your backyard. I've already run out of space. I like we moved to this place at the start of this year, and I've already like run out of space. It's nuts. We've got all the printers. I really want some more hardcore hardware. Like I want to get a lathe again. I used to have a lathe when I was younger. That was awesome. I'd love a mill, like a milling machine, just a small one. But I don't want any more printers. Full Moon Lord, thank you so much for the congratulations. What are you going to do in celebration? We actually already celebrated. We went out to a nice, fancy restaurant and had a lot of espresso martinis. And Jace, how long will the stream be? I don't know. As long as you guys are entertained. I'm having a chill weekend. I've already done my video. It's going to go up tonight. The really cool thing about working for yourself is you can schedule your own hours. So I was doing my video till 2 a.m. last night, but it means I can hang out with you guys now and then go for a walk and then do whatever. Even though it's Saturday, I know it sounds strange, but Saturday is when you guys are actually free to hang out. So I don't regret taking that leap to work for myself. It's been rough sometimes, but now it's really, really starting to pay off. People are saying 5-axis CNC mill. Yeah, guys, I'll just put a machining center in my garage. Sure, why not? I'll just reach out to what's a good machining center company? Tormac don't make anything nearly big enough. Needs to have a full carousel tool changer with everything I need, so I can machine parts, tap them, and then eject them out a little chute in the side. And then I'll pay someone to do the 5-axis cam programming, because I have no idea how to do that. Prusa i3 Mark III ... worth it from Scon. You tell me. It's a good printer. I mean, I printed all these parts on it. Is it worth it to you? I don't know. Michael, am I living on YouTube ads or affiliate links or what? So that's another good question. A lot of people are under the illusion that YouTube pays its creators crap loads of money through AdSense. It does not. YouTube AdSense is useful, but it is nowhere near sustainable. So I am kept alive because of my generous Patreon supporters, who I really do appreciate. You guys are amazing. And through my Gumroad product sales. So when I make a file, I'll make it on Gumroad for sale. And sometimes it's like $1, sometimes it's free, sometimes it's $5. That really goes a long way to help. And I do a little bit of affiliate stuff, but not very much. Announcing now that I'm pretty much done with GearBest. They have pissed me off multiple times. And I was doing affiliate sales through them with printers I trusted, but the rep I was working with changed, and they had this new chick, and she was just very pushy. I did the CRX video on Makerspace Live, which is where I normally stream, and like she found it and wanted me to put the GearBest like affiliate links into that video, even though they didn't send me the printer, and wanted me to take down the Hoonie review because I hated it, stuff like that. So I'm done with that. So in terms of affiliate links, I don't do that too much, but for some channels, they are kept alive through affiliate links. Absolutely. So if you're going to see an affiliate link, it's going to be for something I personally would recommend, not for something that I'm using for affiliate links. Yeah, Morph knows the machining centers I want. Get a nice Haas or a DMG Mori or Ron Mazak. That's pretty old school. I love those things so much. They're incredible. Adam the Kid, I have a question. I have a Wanhao Power Spec 3D printer, and I've never modded it. Is there any way I can use flexible 3D filament? And if not, can I use any other kind of special filament? I don't know what the power spec is, but the original Wanhao, like... Wait, what the heck is a power... I'm going to look that up. Wanhao power spec? One moment. Oh, it's an i3 Plus. Okay. Yes, then in that case, you can buy a Flexion extruder, which is a bolt-on to print flexibles. I believe that is the correct answer. I hate these rebrands. They're so confusing. But yeah, I would get a Flexion if you want to print flexibles. Otherwise, it's really painful. Hey, Midnight Giant, thanks so much for the $5 towards the next drink. This one will last me for a bit, and then... this is only full of water, sadly, but it could be full of beer. I might sort that out. Eric, oh, that's a good question. What happened to the impersonator? So, a lot of you guys came in recently, but you might have seen I did a video on someone impersonating Muse to get free 3D printers. So basically I tracked down where they were, and it wasn't a residential address, it was actually a storage facility, which makes sense. So I tracked down the owners of the storage facility and sent them a lot of information. Since then, the email has been closed down, it doesn't exist anymore. And I don't know what's happened, I haven't heard back, but basically it seems to have stopped. If they continue, I will continue to proceed and pursue it, but as far as I understand, one company did get duped into sending a printer, a poor Korean company. So they were, unfortunately, they sent something off. It is what it is. If you don't check your facts and realize that, you know, the information's all here to contact me properly, it's not my fault. But yeah, I think the individual is probably known at this point. So there it is. If anything else changes, I'll let you guys know, but it is what it is. It sucks. It happened to so many YouTubers as well, and it's a criminal offense. It's serious business. If you commit fraud, especially in like UK, you're fucked. Sorry. I let my Australian out. I do apologize. But that was really frustrating for us. So, yeah, it's yeah, hopefully that's the end of it. Sorry. I usually do so well in streams not to swear. Oh, man. What are my expectations of the M3D Crane Quad multicolor mixing? I get heaps of people asking about this printer. They're spamming Facebook with, like, I think their marketing department's just been given free reign. I don't think it's really the tech guys behind it, but they're saying stuff like the world's first full-color 3D printer, which is an outright lie. I don't think multicolor means much to me. I just don't care. If that's something you're after, then sure, consider it. But for me, it doesn't interest me. It's just a CR10 style printer with a multicolor extruder. My virgin ears, oh no. Yeah, here it comes, demonetized hashtag. Oh, man. Okay, people are saying M3D is also spamming Reddit. I don't have a huge regard for M3D. Their M3D Micro was a novel idea, but it just wasn't that great. And what hasn't been made transparent is the crowdfund website these printers are listed on is owned by M3D. They're not making that very clear, so take from that what you like. I'm not saying that they're going to commit fraud, but it's not very transparent in my opinion. Anyway. Sean Riley, why is my stupid filament curling? It's a brand new hot end. I don't know if you mean by curling off the print surface or curling at the nozzle. If it's curling at the nozzle, you have a it's semi-blocked, and you might need to get some piano wire and clean it out. If it's curling off the print bed, then it could be a number of issues. It might be ABS and you're printing at PLA settings. I don't know. I have a video on perfect first layer, which is in my 3D printing 101 series, and that's helping you get the layer height. But if correct, but if it's the wrong temperature settings, or you're trying to print ABS on an open frame, it's probably gonna do that sort of thing. Probably gonna warp. And Randy Antley just pledged on Patreon. Welcome. I forgot I got that plugged in. Do appreciate the support. Morph saying, I'd rather see M3D fail. I want Printerbot back. Yeah, that's really sad. For those who don't know, Printerbot closed down. Which look, I never had any interaction with them. I never contacted them for reviews. I got to meet the guys, and I've forgotten his name. I'm so bad with names. Shake his hand and say thank you for disrupting the 3D printing industry with the original Printerbot. Because they did. They jumped in when printers were really expensive and dropped this cheap 3D printer. It was cheap, it was cheerful, but it worked, and they delivered, and they launched a company from it. So that's really cool, but they haven't been doing that great. They haven't been able to crack the market segment, and I think China and their ability to pump out stuff with the locally available parts is very hard to compete with when you're getting stuff from China to America to assemble, which is what they were doing. Because they're not going to make stepper motors in the States. Is stuff like that. So I am upset that they've decided to shut her up. And I think I predicted that this sort of thing would happen at the start of the year. We've lost Type A machines. We've lost them. And there's probably going to be a few more to come, unfortunately. Pepito, any thoughts on the Obsidian and its delay as you were testing it? Just a quick word on that. They had some issue with another company that they were claiming were copying their printer, which is called the Yan. But I'm staying out of the whole thing. Essentially, the machine that was sent to me was a functional prototype, so it was handmade. And I tried to make that clear in the video that what I got was very different to what you'll probably receive when you get your Obsidian. So unfortunately, it's out of my hands. I have no opinion on the campaign as such, but it was one of the delays and such was one of the pushing points to me to stop interacting with Kickstarter campaigns. So I will no longer accept a Kickstarter printer for review to pump a Kickstarter up, because it's just too easy for things to go wrong, whether they're intentional or not. And I don't want to see guys ripped off. Like, even when I try to stop people pledging for Kickstarters, like the Olo, Olo, now Ono, like I said, don't back this, and people still did. So I'm very much over these campaigns. There's heaps of good printers on the market that exist from reputable companies that are already selling them, they're already in production by them. I wouldn't back these cheap printers. It's just my opinion. Hey, 400 AGL, thanks so much. Angus, I enjoy your videos and all the tips and info you pass on to us. Thank you so much, man. I do appreciate it. I share everything with you guys. Like, if I learn something new, I'll share it. If I make a mistake, I'll share it. It's fun. It's why I do this. I was very isolated when I was actually working in the industry, doing this sort of thing behind the scenes. I'd be tweaking and tinkering and fixing STL files for, let's face it, selfish idiot customers that didn't appreciate the work. They'd want something done really quickly, and the file would be terrible, and they wouldn't appreciate what I'd be doing. So it's awesome that I can do a video about fixing an STL file, and you guys are like, thank you for the video. It's like, this is the best job ever. Oh yeah, Chris has a good list. So we've lost, in terms of companies that have gone, we've lost Printerbot. Soladoodle was a long time ago, let's be fair. Type A machines and Mod T. So Type A, Mod T, and Printerbot were the recent ones. Yeah, Mod T didn't quite crack it. I mean, it's a novel idea. Type A was very premium, but it wasn't like, it couldn't reach couldn't reach Ultimaker level premium, unfortunately. And then Printerbot is Printerbot. They were doing some really cool things. They were doing a printer belt kit. They were really trying. I mean, if they kickstarted that, yeah, going back to Kickstarters, they had a reputation. Maybe they would have succeeded. I don't know. How to add space onto an end stop for a glass bed add-on. if depends on the printer, but often printers, to add room for that glass, there'll be 2 slots for the limit switch. You want to move the switch up. So often there'll be like 2 spots for it, for you to move it. And you move it up, it hits the limit switch sooner, therefore it doesn't go too low into the Z. Leslie Myers, can you do a follow-up on your $500 Makerspace and updates plus suggestions on starter projects? Yes, that's a good idea. I've been meaning to do like a conclusion-ish video on that. I think we did pretty good. If you guys haven't seen the $500 Makerspace video, the idea was to be like, look, you could buy this new gaming console, or you could get your kid a Makerspace. And it's not a great Makerspace, but it had a 3D printer, it had tools, it had some equipment, had a computer. I found a computer at the dump that had an i5 processor in it, an old one, but an i5, and 8 gigs of RAM. Someone had chucked, so it's definitely possible, but I haven't done anything more on that. So yes, good point. I should find something more. I did these headphones holders. So I did, this is a Tinkercad one. I've done one with Fusion 360. The Fusion 360 one is actually holding headphones, so I can't show you that. But there is some other cool projects I could definitely demonstrate. Tony, Ryan, Devin ripped off your spherical idea, did a great job with it, balls in your court. No, he did not. Me and Devin saw that Kickstarter campaign at exactly the same time, and I was working on it, and then Devin sent me a PM, a DM, whatever, saying, I think we're both doing the same thing, and we were, so we decided that I'd release my video because I was ready to go, and then I would link to his. So at the end of my video, I say, go check out Devin's video, and I've just updated it with his new video. So sometimes that happens. Sometimes people come up with the same idea at the same time. There's nothing wrong with it. It's like, what was it? Convergent evolution, is that what it's called? Where different animals have similar traits when they're not related? It's like convergent design. You'll come up with the same idea and solutions when you're not even talking to each other. So that's really funny. Me and Devin are like the same person. It's scary. He does his own music on the channel as well. I do my own music. Oh man, he's definitely much more of a hottie though. Let's be real. Venturi 3D, I'm currently running a Kickstarter for our 3D printer. We're not all bad. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, guys. Unfortunately, it's like, the bad eggs spoil it. I have been ruined by these bad eggs, but I'm sorry. That to be fair, you guys can go check out Venturi 3D's Kickstarter. I haven't looked into it properly, but you've been doing a lot of pre-research into it. I have seen your tweets, so that's fair enough. Bravo Kilo, I'd like to say thank you very much for all your efforts so far. Keep it up. Thank you so much, man. I do intend to keep it up. I have lots of projects planned. It's it's gonna be a busy year. I've got a whole list of things, and it takes me to the end of the year already. Hey Bale 100, what is that laptop in the background? It looks like a Dell/Alienware, but I can't figure it out. That's intentional. Dell owns Alienware. It's a Dell, but it's a Dell gaming series Inspiron 7000, but I hate the Dell logo on the back, so I covered it up with a sticker. So it's intentional. Unfortunately, it's crap now, though. Laptops seem to have a very ever diminishing lifespan, and Windows 10 has just wrecked it. Like, there's Premiere Pro, Audition, and Windows 10 on the SSD, and it's full. It's just stuffed. It's unrealistically unusable. So I don't know. Depending on how well we do this month, I bought some new lights thanks to my amazing Patreon supporters. That's what's being lighting me right now. So good. So hopefully I'll be able to buy a new editing rig, because that's slowing me down. This computer is too slow. That's just about as slow now. It is what it is. Ed the Bob, what's your favorite 3D printer and filament? I don't really have a favorite 3D printer. What I use the most right now is the Cetus 3D, the Up Mini, Up Mini 2, sorry, and the Prusa Mark 3s. They're the ones I use most because the Prusa Mark 3 I can just pull the parts off the removable bed really easily. The Up Mini 2 and the Cetus are Wi-Fi, so I can actually just sit up here, go do, and they're in the cupboard. They live in a cupboard downstairs, so they can be idling. Then I can just send files to them remotely. And in terms of filament, look, I just print whatever I got on hand. I don't even know what brand of PLA this is. It's stuff that came with the printers. I think it's Creality brand or something. TNKRTWN. Any tips on printing more than one copy of something at a time? Yes, actually. Depending on what it is, there's two modes your slicer may allow you to print things. That is layer by layer all at once, or one object at a time. One object at a time can be faster, but realistically, it's a little bit harder to set up. What that means is if you've got like cubes, and the nozzle has a lot of clearance around it, you can actually print a cube, and then move across and print another cube. But you need to allow for that clearance, like otherwise it'll collide with itself. And I think that's just called printing one at a time or something like that in the slicer. Go look it up though. It is possible, but only on some machines. If you don't have that clearance around the hot end, or your hot end's quite bulky, then it's not going to work. or if the bed goes right up to like a gantry or something, it's going to collide. Crazy Mechanics 101, do I own a business? Yes, I own Maker's Muse. Maker's Muse is a business, although technically it's still a sole trader, tradership, sole proprietor, whatever. So in Australia it's called sole trading. I registered as an ABN, and I have to do everything by the book, basically. I collect taxes, I pay taxes. It's been a real big learning curve for me because I studied industrial design, not economics. Or accounting. So yes, this is a business.
Have you seen or tried Velocity 3D printing? It allows you to have patterns on walls on the print.
On the print. Thanks so much, Free Range Pickles. Appreciate it. I haven't tried it yet. I looked into it. As far as I understand, the user interface for the Velocity Painting app is far better now. And Tom Salandaler just did a really in-depth video on how to use it, so I highly recommend checking it out. I saw that video and it made it look really sexy. I wanted to try it. I haven't tried it yet, but I've been ready meaning to. Absolutely. Demille, thank you so much for the $5. Is it possible to make a flat lithophane in a different shape, like a heart, for example? I suppose it is, but if you're using a lithophane creation program, they'd probably have presets. What you could conceivably do is create the lithophane STL and then take it into something like Tinkercad and then cut the heart shape out of it, which isn't perfect, but yes. But you need to ensure that there's no overhangs. Lithophanes are like very, very thinly adhered to the print surface, so you need a lot of what I'd call the brim, so the sort of first layer helping it stick down, like a really wide brim. But if you have a shape that doesn't have a lot of that first contact point, you're probably going to have it fail. So I can't see a heart working. I could see like a flat surface, then something like that, but not that. It wouldn't stick. Brandel, thank you so much for the $20. Hi Angus, congrats on 300k. Just wanted to thank you for demystifying the sometimes complicated world of 3D printing. And your recommendations for a first-time new buyer. Got an Ender from GearBest. Nervous, any tips? Hopefully you would have gotten the newest Ender, which will have the removable print surface and the better couplers, so I think you're good. My machine was just one of those bad batches with the crappy couplers and the horrible print surface. But the new ones seem to be pretty good. A lot of people are happy with them. But I would highly recommend joining the appropriate Facebook group, because that's the best way these days to get anything sort of fixed on a very specific machine. Yeah, but congrats. That's a good starting point, absolutely. Siege Designs, any tips for building or programming a homemade or self-designed 3D printer? Do it for a hobby. Don't do it because you're trying to get a cheap 3D printer, because it won't be cheaper than a purchasable kit. But yeah, it's a fun experience. I would recommend checking out going RepRap, the RepRap wiki. I think it's reprap.org, and looking at any of the open source designs. A lot of them are really outdated, so find something that looks interesting with an active GitHub or active repository. But be prepared for a long, tedious process that might cost a lot of money, because getting like individual parts is really hard depending on the country you're in. Whereas buying a kit, the company has bought lots of parts and then they part them off into the kits. You're almost better off buying a kit at this point. If you're interested in just learning how to design something and you're interested in like process of making a printer, a kit's probably the best way to go. But look, I'm tinkering right now because I feel if I run a YouTube channel with 300,000 people about 3D printing, I should have designed my own 3D printer by now. I did make one like years ago, but it was an experimental icing 3D printer for my major design project at university, which did work. I was hacking Marlin. Oh, was it Marlin? It might have even been Repetier. Something horrible, awful firmware back in the day, using Prontoface to interact with it. But I need to do something just for my own interest. So that would be my recommendations. Any chance going to Singapore Comic Con this September? No, unfortunately not, although that sounds pretty cool. Randall's asking, with regards to the crappy power supplies and printer kits, do you think using an ATX power supply instead would be better or safer? Yeah, I've seen some people use ATX or computer power supplies before. If you're using them, I used to use them for chargers for my robot combat stuff. Like I'd use them to power chargers. If you're taking high current from the 12 volt rail, you need to load up the 5 volt rail, I believe. I can't remember exactly the reason, but it's to get the full current out of it. So you can definitely do it. Just keep that in mind. You might need to put like a 5 volt like lamp or something on the 5 volt rail to get full amperage out of 12 volts. But yeah, absolutely can. Just don't open it. There is mains voltage inside unless you know what you're doing. I know. Everyone's like, Angus is always scared of mains voltages. Look, it's dangerous. And I don't want to hear that someone hurt themselves because they listened to me and did something stupid. So it's just my take on things. Complaining kid. Tell I got a Tronxy X1 as a beginner printer. Please respond. Your name suits your demand very, very well. I only read it because it was funny. Yes, if you can only afford an X1, then get it. But it's not going to be the best printer you can get at all. It's just a really good budget printer. 404 Villain version 2, yes, absolutely. That's what this thing is, 404 Villain. Although I found out that 404 Villain is like some rap band. Like if you type 404 Villain in YouTube, it's some just not very good music. So I don't know if I can use that name. What's the printer on the shelf near the printer you are building? What is that printer? That one? Okay, so that printer is the Hobby King Fabricator Mini, which was based on the Tiny Boy open source 3D printer. It was at the time the cheapest printer you could get. It was $300 Australian, which is about 200 US at the time. It works. It's not great. I use it because it looks good on camera. But I would recommend, if you cannot afford much, the Tronxy X1 for about 130 US dollars or something. Sometimes it's ridiculous. The difference is that came that came ready to run, not already assembled. That came as a kit. Yep, there you go. Siege Designs, any tips for starting up a print shop or commission service? I do have tips because I used to do that. I highly recommend checking out my video though on making money with 3D printing because I go into a lot more depth. But essentially, I am very jaded. I'm so jaded. You don't want the cheapest customers. I've found that the people that don't want to spend much money are the ones that will be the most annoyance to you. You want to aim at selling higher quality, higher valued objects. So I used to have a minimum of $50, and that would be reasonable to get, a reasonable demand and expectations. People who want to spend like $20 are just, they don't understand the process. They're like, can I print this mask? And like, it costs $5 in the shops. Why doesn't it cost $5 to 3D print? Because they don't understand it takes 30 hours to print. So when you break it down, using your time, your material, your energy, your labor, I would recommend restricting to higher value objects. It just, I don't really see it worth doing it for lower owned objects. That's just my opinion. Go check out that video. I think I go into a lot more depth about it in that 3D printing for profit, basically. Also, there's a really good Facebook group, 3D Printing for Profit, which is also worth looking into. Oh, ding, ding, ding. Thanks so much, Blood On. I'm not sure why it doesn't read some comments, but some others. I really do appreciate it. Happy 300k. Have some something for your ass. Oh, you said ass. That's why I did. The Streamlabs thing like censored ass. Funny. Turtle hit by car. What a horrible username. Turtle hit by car. Oh man, it is very much the internet generation. Do you recommend a kit Mark III or assembled? I recommend, if it's your first printer, I recommend assembled. If you can afford it, it's going to remove any major issues you might encounter. But if you can't afford the assembled version and you want the experience, then go with the kit. But keep in mind, you can make mistakes. Printers that you assemble as a kit when you might not know exactly what you're doing might be less reliable. It's a trade-off. I always say 3D printing is a hobby or a tool. A hobby is when you get the kits, you upgrade it, you have a great time just making things print better, and that sort of thing, tinkering, calibrating. Or you 3D print as a tool where you want it to be like an inkjet printer. You just want it to print things, like I'll send this to it, and I'll be like, I come back in 24 hours, and it's finished. I subscribe to the second opinion. I always try to just print as a tool, because I like to design things, and print things I don't really want to spend my time upgrading, but it really depends on you. Spray Matter Productions, thanks so much for the Canadian $20. I think we're about the same in terms of our funny money. If I paid for your lodging, travel, and consumables, would you be willing to travel to Bonavista, Newfoundland? Any other requirements you might need that we could cover? I know you're busy, but let me know. I thank you very much. I need to look exactly how far away that is, but as I have said before, I've had to say a blanket no to any international travel for this year. To really get the channel back up and running to the speed that I wanted it to, because as you can imagine, if I leave, it's not just the time I'm away, it's all the preparation, it's the jet lag, it's the traveling, and that's all time I can't make content, and YouTube punishes you hard for not making videos. I've been making them about twice a week, and you see like the views and everything just bam, like it just stops recommending your videos, it doesn't like to send it out, it wants regular content. So, unfortunately, if I was to travel, it would have to be for a really major event. Like I've said, the Bay Area Maker Faire, or like I would consider the Linus Tech Tips LTX Expo 2019. I mean, I'm a YouTuber too, Linus. You can send me there. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, honestly, international travel is really difficult for me. But thank you so much. I do really, really appreciate it. There's another thing for service bureaus. Oh, okay, yeah. Morph is adding some weight into the issue with printing on demand. Yeah, it's difficult. It really is hard. Everyone wants me to come to the States. Look, I will commit to Bay Area Maker Faire if I can make it without losing, I guess, momentum or income, because I need to pay rent and stuff like that. We'll see how we go. Yeah, and all the people are going to be like, yeah, LTX was amazing. Yes, I'm jealous as I wish I could have gone. I do want to get over to Canada. I'll be honest. I'll be realistic. Luke's saying just pre-record some videos and release systematically. I used to kind of do that, but 3D printing just is such like for anyone looking to start a YouTube channel in this space, you'll quickly learn that a lot of the sort of spokespeople for successful channels on YouTube and stuff, there's a really broad mix, and a lot of them are just absolutely unsuitable for this sort of field. Like, they'll say you need to upload every day or twice a day. And it's like, what planet do you live on where you can design stuff that fast? Or you can review things that fast? It's great for a channel where you just talk about stuff. But if you need to show things and design things, I mean, this is the fourth revision. And each one takes like 24 hours to print. And I can show the journey, but I can't just stop and make content every single day. So yes, there's like some things like reviews and things which I used to definitely queue up, and I do intend to queue up if I go overseas again. But it takes like the hustle is real just to do this amount, let alone double the amount so you have a backlog. So it is a struggle, absolutely. If you want to learn about actually growing a sustainable channel though, check out Tim Schmoyer over on Video Creators. He is, out of all of them, the most knowledgeable guy. And he's also the most realistic because, like, he understands that some channels are different. Like, if you have an animation channel, you can't upload every single day. So he's good. I really liked him. Is Nathan still in the chat? I see people freaking out. Oh my god, Nathan Wilson. It's because I showed the Rubik's Cube again, isn't it? The 3x3. I should practice calling it a 3x3. Teresa's asking if any of you Americans been to Australia. Yeah, you're welcome. I should hold a 3D printing expo here in Australia. I'll hold it in Sydney. Iconic Bondi Beach. There's the pavilion behind it. We can hold it there, and you guys can come visit. That'd be funny. That would be really hilarious. All right, JT's off. Have a safe flight, my dude. Akira, you're live now? Yes, I am. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Oh, man. Yeah, look, the thing is, I would still be doing what I do even if it wasn't 300,000 subscribers. I mean, that number is just, you can't get your head wrapped around it. When I passed 100,000 in May last year, that was surreal. I was at the Matter Hackers meetup with Joel, and we were celebrating Joel's 100,000 subscribers. And it was like, that number, like, it gets to a point where you cannot mentally comprehend it. Like, you know, I used to sort of relate, like, 100 people would be, you know, a small school hall. Maybe 200 would be, you know, like, you know, a school assembly or something. I went to a pretty small school. Like 60 was like the year group. I could sort of understand those numbers. Then it's like 1,000. Okay, that's a pretty busy crowd. And then it's like 10,000. Okay, I stadium. I don't know. 100, and there's like 300,000 people. I mean, I have more subscribers than the entire population of, what was it, South Australia? No, Northern Territory. Northern Territory in Australia. It's nuts. And I really am thankful, and I really do appreciate you guys joining me on this journey. Because I feel it's just beginning. You know, we're just at the cusp of this technology really becoming accessible and allowing people like yourself and me to design things and make things that were never really possible before. Really, really do appreciate it. MuseCon 2020. Yeah, we'll hold a Makers Muse convention in 2020. We'll hold it in the ocean between America and Australia. We'll just find a country somewhere in between, or like a barge, and just hold it there in international waters. I'm trying to catch up on the chat because I went on a mad tangent. 1 million subscribers. I don't think that's possible with this sort of. Maybe. Look, again, it's not a goal. Like, a lot of people make the mistake when they start a channel to set like a subscriber goal. Like, I have to get this. But really, it depends on your business model, how you grow your channel. Some channels can have a really loyal fan base of like 10,000 people. I remember when I had 10,000 subscribers, a lot of you guys were there, and you were commenting, you were supporting, you're really, making it worthwhile. And if you have products that benefit the community and you sell them to them, like, making learning resources or physical products even, and you have a loyal fan base that you are supporting and helping, you can make it work. You don't need 1 million subs. I see 1 million sub channels with, less engagement than I get, just because they've done giveaways and massive, like, clickbaity stuff, but people don't stay. I don't know. Oh my god, people are saying Hawaii. Is that actually halfway? Because you know who lives in Hawaii? That Michael Reeves guy. Just go, like, gate crash him. That would be hilarious. I would like to go to Hawaii. Maybe not the island that's covered in lava right now. Little Goth, make sure you get a Monster sponsorship. Yeah, if anyone knows a contact for an energy drink company, please let me know. I'm not endorsing drinking energy drinks, but I personally don't like hot drinks. I'm not a massive fan of hot coffee, so I drink energy drinks. I need my caffeine. And yeah, if I could get sponsored by an energy drink company, it would be amazing. Joel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. We got a 3D printing nerd in the house. I did tell him I was doing a stream. Thank you so much for joining. No, Michael Reeves. I can't get over some of these usernames. A total hit by car is probably the worst one so far. I'm sorry. Oh dear. Yeah, the YouTube space is changing. Like, I think people are just sick of the whole ridiculous clickbait stuff. Look, I get it. Some of my videos are a little bit clickbaity in the titles. Like, I try to demonstrate try to pose a question or entice people into the content so I can, like, kind of sneakily show them 3D modeling and 3D printing. But I've never just be misleading completely. Like, I never be like, I got killed by a 3D printer and, like, show it on fire. Or like, no, it's never happening. People talking about the ANET A8 again. Come on, guys. How many times do I have to say no? It's never being reviewed. Yeah, they've contacted me many times. I've been like, no, if I responded. People are asking Joel to stream. I think Joel should absolutely stream at some point soon.
For the caffeine fund.
Thank you so much, Jean-Francois. I hope I pronounced that properly. I assume it is French. I do appreciate it. It will go into the caffeine fund. Also, for you guys that are donating in PayPal, it also goes into the pizza fund. I think you might like to know. That's where I get my pizzas from, the PayPal fund. Bob is 32 commentary. Thank you so much for the $5. Hanger's been watching about a year. What CAD programs do you use other than Fusion 360? I used to use SolidWorks. I don't because I don't own it anymore, but I learnt SolidWorks in uni and I used it in my old workplace. And it's awesome. Like, I can draw anything I want in SolidWorks. It took me years to learn, but I can do anything I want in it. But SolidWorks has been very clear that they do not give a crap about the hobby market, because in Australia, for me to buy SolidWorks Premium is about $12,000, if not more. So Fusion 360, I tried when they had the old. You probably won't remember. There was an old Fusion 360, which was okay actually, but definitely not polished. But then I was really hesitant to get into the new one, but eventually I got into it after some people tried it. I used Onshape, which was more like... Onshape was more like SolidWorks, but then they changed the terms and conditions, which pissed me off. So at the moment, I use Fusion 360 heavily, and then I actually use Tinkercad a little bit, because Tinkercad, when you're working with meshes, is actually really powerful. So if I want to use a mesh file and edit it, like cut into it or something, I will fire up Tinkercad sometimes, even now. But yeah, Fusion 360 is pretty much my go-to CAD right now. Good question though. Mo2, thank you so much for the $10. I really enjoy your channel, and so do 300,000 other people. Yes. Be proud of your work and quality content. It stands out. Make sure you visit DEF CON NL on your next trip. We'll meet. DEF CON. Oh my god. Yeah, not many people know how much I am into the harder styles. It's a little bit of a secret, but I haven't made a concert. I don't like crowds. I love the music, but I don't like crowds. It's a bit of an issue, but like I think I make an exception for DEF CON in the Netherlands. Like the real proper stuff. The Australian one's really good. Like hardstyle in Australia has been really quite good, even underground still. It's still quite prevalent, but might need to go back to the roots, I suppose. People talking about doing collab streams. It's really hard to do streams with two people from different countries. Not only that, like me and Joel have done streams together before, but getting us in the camera shot at the same time and also having the audio work is difficult. You need like virtual sound cards and stuff like that. Yeah, it's difficult. I think we tried using Discord before and it worked okay, but I couldn't see Joel live. I had to see him on the recording or something like that. Anyway, I'm sure we'll figure it out one day. I'm just using my old C920 webcam with my mic. This is my old setup. I've been using this computer. Guys, you might want to know that I've been using this exact rig since my first videos on Maker's Muse. If you look way back to like 2014, when I did the video on ripping files from Chivalry Medieval Warfare, which I still play, I was using this exact rig. Just, I was in a different state back then. Same computer, same camera, same mic. Same software. Yeah, I think Devin also learnt SolidWorks, but also, guys, SolidWorks is more supportive in America. Like, there's regional pricing. So in Australia, they're like, haha, you're Australian, we'll gouge you. Whereas in the States, you can get a student copy fairly easily, which can be used for non-commercial use. But that doesn't exist in Australia. I had like a server license for when I was in uni, and then of course when I left uni, no longer. Oh, Devin's live streaming tomorrow apparently. That's definitely worth checking out. Mark your notebooks, Devin's live stream tomorrow. Try using Skype. I hate Skype so much. We used to try to use Skype as well, same issues in terms of streaming. You're not playing Fallout. I don't know what that is referring to, but I did get sick last week. I finally got the flu, and I did start playing Fallout 4 again. I did a video on ripping files from Fallout 4 years ago as well. And I have plans. I have some plans along those lines, but you'll have to wait till I can verify them before I announce anything more. Akira is saying, you look funny shy considering there must be way more than 300,000 people that look at you, not only a camera, get more shy now. You're right. No, absolutely. I was like the kid in school who was the worst at public speaking. I was so awkwardly shy. It was painful. And I made videos kind of to help me get over that, and I'm still not great, which is funny because I go to events and people come say hi, and I'm so out of my element, but I'm so keen to meet people. I'd kind of push through it. If you look at some of my really early videos, I actually had some not on this channel. I had some other ones on the internet. I'm not going to tell you where, but I'm the same, but I'm also a lot more. I talk way faster, and I try to get it out of the way. I can't quite get my message across, and I stutter a little bit. I've gotten better, but yeah, I am what I am. I am a bit of a introvert. No lying there. RIP MySpace Planes. Thanks so much for the $10. What would you say currently is the best replacement for ABS filaments for strong parts for hobby use? That's a good question. ABS is difficult to print. If you can print it reliably, then by all means, it's like really cheap. But PETG is a good option. PETG is not going to be as forgiving when it gets pushed to its limit. It tends to shatter, but it does print easier than ABS, and it has similar strength, a little bit of a better temperature resistance to PLA. Otherwise, you can use the modified PLAs, like Polyalchemy Elixir is a little bit stronger than normal PLA, in my experiences anyway. And then there's Polymaker, the Polymaker PLA, Poly Plus? I don't remember the name. Polymax. That's a really strong modified PLA, and that's quite good as well. Big Phil saying, is ripping models from games legal? That's a really good question. I don't think so. It's almost like a copyright thing. So I think it's borderline because I'm not selling them. But if I was to rip them and sell the 3D prints or distribute the STL, the actual 3D model, that's borderline. You get in trouble for that. Which is why I got so pissed off with Gambody when they sent me the file of the Fallout Power Armor. It was very clearly the same original mesh as the one in the game. They just modified it, which was very obvious. So I don't know. It's one of those really grey areas. Some companies are totally cool with it. Like when I did the video with Chivalry Medieval Warfare, and I ripped the file from it, they got in touch being like, hey, that's awesome. Can we work with you in future with some other stuff? Like, they were totally keen with it. They put it out on their Twitter. But some other companies have been known to take down review channels when they show game content. So it really depends on the company and how cool, how savvy they are, I guess, with this sort of thing. Obviously, if someone's selling it and distributing and profiting off your work, that's bad. But if someone's engaging with a game and actually just having fun, I don't really see an issue with it. But I'm not a lawyer by any means. Philomax, does Makerspace have a Facebook page? I do. I don't use it. I have enough issues keeping up with other social media platforms. I'm sorry, guys who love Facebook. The page is kind of there as a placeholder so no one else registers it. Sorry. I dislike Facebook, quite frankly. It doesn't do anything for me. Oop, I moved it and then everything went crazy. Oh yeah, someone suggested Google Hangouts as a way to stream together. Yes, we did that before as well, and it worked quite well. That's probably the most viable option to stream with multiple people. So I'm totally keen to do some Hangouts. Will I review the Anycubic i3 Mega and the Chiron? Oh, it's when will you review? I like that presumption that I will review certain things. I have no intention of reviewing either of those machines. I have gotten in touch, and I have said no. 3D Maker Noob, Joe is a fantastic guy, and he's reviewed both machines. I trust him. You should trust him, so go check out his opinion. Oh, man. Yeah, people are like... Yeah, it's like having over 400 conversations at the same time. Sorry if I missed your comments. I'm trying to like talk to the camera, keep things concise, and read your comments at the same time. People talking about Gambody, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't really buy into distributing copyrighted content like that. That irks me a little bit. TrueTech Australia seems ideal for 3D printing, easier downloading a file than shipping. Yeah, you'd think that, except our government has made it very clear that we don't deserve internet that's fast enough to distribute files. So I actually physically moved to a location that had proper fiber to the premises internet, which was put in place in a few regional areas around Australia to test it before they rolled out the real NBN, which never happened. So most places in Australia get ADSL2, and that's it. So in terms of distributing the files, we're stuffed. So I guess we'll have to rely on road trains still for a while, and really expensive and unreliable shipping costs. Gotta freaking love the Australian politics going on right now. And Gus, welcome to Patreon. Really appreciate it, man. Choose a 3D printed clock design and have a couple of them on the wall behind you during streams. I have seen some really cool clock designs from some amazing creators. That is true. I'm not sure how much I would trust like a mechanical mechanism. Plus, it would be loud. Like the springs and everything, the capture movement. I don't know the terms exactly for the mechanics of it, but they're quite loud. And they don't last very long. But that would be pretty neat. Like some sort of moving thing. I do have my objects of constant width bearing, which does work, but a little bit out of place if I just put it there. I want some lights. I want some LED lights there. I think they'll look really cool. Ben, they're done that. Are your STLs on Thingiverse as well as My Mini Factory? They're on neither. I decided very early on to control the distribution of my files through a company called Gumroad. So Gumroad is a option. It's a digital marketplace. So I upload my STL files to Gumroad. You can choose to pay for them or not, depending if they're free, or some of them are paid and you have to pay for them. And then you can download them. Therefore, if I change things, it will send you an email saying, hey, Angus changed this thing. Here's the new version. And I control all rights. There's nothing. Gumroad does not care or know what I'm uploading as long as it's not against terms of service. And I control everything. My Mini Factory and Thingiverse are different. They have their own terms and conditions, and there was a big riot about Thingiverse changing them about 2 years ago or so. So they could very well start using them for their own promotional purposes. I think there was even like commercial use at some point. Don't quote me on that. There was a big thing about Thingiverse. They are owned by MakerBot, which is now owned by Stratasys, keep in mind. And My Mini Factory does have, it's a company that needs to make profit, so it does have commercial interests. So I don't use those platforms. I'm sorry, it's how it is. And I make a lot of my income through those files, so I maintain as much control as I can. Oh, man. Nicholas is asking, will the Combat Robot series come back? Yeah, you know what my old videos were. Maybe. I don't have much time anymore. Like, I used to have so much time to invest in just tinkering on combat robots to have them be like destroyed in 5 minutes. These days, not so much. Like, it's ironic. I have the money to spend on combat robots because it would be a business expense if it's part of the channel, but I don't have the time. So yeah, it's one of those things. I want to get back into it. I will probably be at the next competition, which will be in Brisbane later this year. But I don't know if I'll be competing, sadly. I might actually be the announcer, which would be cool. But I don't know what's going to happen there. I have a special place in my heart for combat robots. They're remote-controlled machines that smash each other. I mean, what's not to love? But I've kind of moved on in my life from that point, sadly. Akira, do I plan to publish more music on SoundCloud? I enjoy your post there. Yeah, I do sometimes. It's just a bit of fun. For those who don't know, I make all the music on the channel, and I've got a keyboard here. I use Cubase, which I did buy out of talking about expensive software. This is a $1,000 USB dongle for Cubase. Not exaggerating. And it's just a bit of fun, and I upload my scratch tracks to SoundCloud if you're interested. So SoundCloud / Angus Devison, I think, something like that, or just search Angus Devison SoundCloud. But it's a very wide variety of formats, and they're definitely not polished. But yeah, as I finish tracks, I upload them. Alrighty. I'll probably start packing up, finishing up the stream soon, guys, because I am getting hungry. Someone just said that, and I am hungry. I haven't had anything yet. But I am having an absolute blast chatting with you guys. This has been so much fun. Again, if you're just jumping in now, I want to say thank you. Back in 2014, when I started Makers Muse, as I said, it was just like to answer questions for people who were coming into the job I was working at, the 3D printing studio in Perth, which is where people would come in to get files printed. I would repair things, and I was just sharing my knowledge. I had already owned the Up Mini 3D printer for a couple of years at that point, so I made a video showing tips and tricks on how I had got that thing going, which I'd learnt myself over the years. And I was just passionate about various things. And then the channel just kind of ticked along. I never really thought it would be a job till I got maybe 6,000 subs in. I'm like, this might be possible. So I quit that job because I didn't like it, and I moved back to Sydney, and I spent about 6 months just absolutely working on making it sustainable, and got to the point where I could pay a very, very low rent in a granny flat, which was under the flight path in Sydney, and grew it from there. So I just cannot thank you guys enough for supporting what I do here. It's absolutely amazing. And I never thought I'd have a 300,000 subscriber account. That's just nuts. And again, I don't do it for the subs, but I am so thankful for you watching. I really do appreciate it. Rick is asking, what synths do I use? Do you just use VSTs? Yes, I do. I use VSTs. I cannot do you think I can afford hardware? Like, man, no. I just use VST instruments. I'm not going to name which ones for some reasons you might understand, but I use a lot of basic ones. I use the ones built into Cubase as well. Cubase, I think it's 7.5 that I stopped upgrading. Has some really good granular synths built into it, but a lot of stuff I do is more harder style, so like super saws and that sort of thing. I've gotten quite good at making them. Jace, is there any way to tell if a model needs supports? Yes, and that would be if it has overhangs beyond a certain limit. It depends on what it is. 45 is a good benchmark, but I do have various videos on support material, which I highly recommend checking out. Refraction, don't thank us. We should be thanking you for all you've done. I believe very strongly in something called fair exchange. And that would be where you buy an apple from someone and you get to eat an apple. The person you bought the apple from benefits because you give them money. You benefit, you get an apple. Whereas unfair exchange would be, to a degree, gambling. Actually very much gambling. You spend money and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I believe very much in a strong level of fair exchange, so I want to give you guys as much content as I can, if not above and beyond what you're expecting. And I absolutely get fair exchange from this deal. I get to do what I love. I get to live in a beautiful location out of the city because I don't have to go into the city to work. I get to work from home. I get to work in the hours I want, and I get to pay my rent with it. I mean, there's no downside. I mean, the possible downside would be the fact that I don't have a 9-to-5 schedule, so I will be working quite late sometimes, or I'll sleep in sometimes. It's a bit chaotic, but I wouldn't trade it. And so, absolutely, this is fair exchange for both parties. And I want to keep it that way. I want to give you guys so much content that you find useful, and as I said, it has to empower your creativity through technology. If it doesn't do that, I'm doing something wrong. The Nameless, what do you think of the video Sexy Cyborg posted about your CRX reviews? I never reviewed the CRX, only Joel did his sort of mini review on it. I did do my unboxing though on stream. Look, it's totally fair. We've both changed as individuals, and I have done reviews in the past that I kind of regret, and I've tweaked and changed things. But again, look, we weren't told they were pre-production beta testing units. Like, we were told to review them. And it is what it is. I wasn't expecting some of the issues that I got, which on live streaming do look a lot worse than they are if you're just doing it by yourself. Because I'm talking to you guys live, and I fired the machine up and the SD card didn't show any G-code. I mean, how do you make that mistake? It's a small thing. Yes, it's a small thing. But while you're live and talking to hundreds of people, it's a big thing. It's embarrassing and it's hard to recover from. Where do I live that the birds chirp at this time? Well, it's only 1 p.m. here, but the birds in this area are gorgeous. There's heaps of them, so they make a lot of noise. Alright, I'm probably going to finish up very soon, guys. Just a couple of more questions. I really do appreciate you guys jumping in and sticking around. Teresa, paying rent blows, though. My house is being sold too now, which sucks. Yeah, I don't know. My generation probably never going to own a house because of how expensive they are, but I get to put some of it onto tax because I'm using this for work purposes. So it does kind of work for me. I'm not too against it. Like, it is what it is. It's a necessary evil. I have a roof over my head. It's just, yeah, I try not to think about it too much. Just like paying tax. I try not to think about all that money which I could have had. Okay, guys. I'm probably going to finish up right here. Okay, Lachlan jumped in a good... One final question. What projects do you have in the works? I think I owe you guys for sticking around a quick sneak peek into what I've been working on. I showed this before. This was the Rubik's Cube I've been working on for a video that's dropping tonight. I've been working really hard at getting a good working mechanism that tolerates misalignment. But I did print a bigger one, which is this one. Alright, so this is huge. This is a massive 3x3 that I printed. It took like 4 days of solid printing. That piece fell off, that's fine. The problem is, I have a huge issue where I jump into things before I really validate them. So this thing looks impressive, but it sucks at turning because I did too much tolerance. I always say you need tolerance for 3D prints, but I put too much in. So when you're holding it, it binds up. Like if you put it on a flat surface, it works pretty good, which I can't do to show you. But as soon as you pick it up, it starts to bind up. So yeah, the video for that comes tonight. I talk all about my process and experiences in designing this. But I've been having a huge amount of fun with puzzles, and there's heaps more to come. So that's a good question. We've got a couple of super chats coming in, so I'll just answer those before I go. Chris, thank you so much. ABS prints are curling downwards after print removal. I don't quite know what you mean. ABS, you want to cool slowly. If you printed it and you take it into a cold environment instantly, it will deform. So you want to cool it slowly. So if you have a print chamber, let that chamber cool down gradually before you take the part out. Otherwise, it will deform. And Jasper, thank you so much for the $4. I really do appreciate it. Champion. All right. Thank you so much, guys. This has been tons of fun. I really enjoyed engaging with you. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Angus Devison. It is my aim to empower your creativity through 3D printing and technology. And I look forward to seeing you all again very shortly here on the channel. Oh, man. All right. Catch you later, guys. Bye.